Hello and welcome back. Today we are making recipes I found on Reddit. Before we start, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We are going to start off with the easiest recipe, which is a herb sorbet and melon. So what we're going to do first is we are going to combine water and sugar in a saucepan and stir it until the sugar is dissolved. And then basically we are going to cut the honeydew in half while the water is simmering, and you are going to de-seed it. I like to use a big spoon for this, and make sure you get all of the seeds out. Don't leave any residue behind. Now, to make it easier to take the peel off the melon, you're going to cut the bottom of the melon off so that way you can stand it up on its back, or on its front rather, and then you're going to de-skin the melon. Get fairly close to the green if you can. Now, after you have de-skinned the whole melon, you're going to cut it in half again, and then you are going to cut it into bite-sized slices. Now, once the sugar syrup is done boiling, you are going to combine it with some lime juice and some basil leaves. As always, the exact amounts of the ingredients will be in the description below. And so basically, you're going to blend it all together so that it makes a kind of liquidy thing. And then you are going to make the melon marinade. Again, I'll put the ingredients in the description box, and make sure you stir very well to combine the ingredients evenly, and so it will marinate evenly. And after you have frozen the mixture for about 3 hours, there you have it. The honeydew and the sorbet combined. The next recipe we are going to be making is green onion bread. So you're going to combine the wet ingredients of milk, sugar, yogurt, vegetable oil, and instant yeast, and you're going to stir them together until combined. You are then going to add that mixture to a mixture of flour and salt and stir it until all of the flour is well hydrated and combined. You are then going to leave it out for 10 minutes and then knead it a few times. You are then going to proof it for 1 hour, and a trick for proofing that I like to use is turning on the oven to a low temperature and then turning it off so that it is still warm, and that way it'll proof faster because it was cold in my house. But anyways, now you're going to make the onion topping, and you are going to combine the chopped green onion, some vegetable oil, some salt, and the recipe calls for Chinese spice, but I didn't have Chinese spice, so I used garam masala instead. I looked up substitutions for the 5-spice, and that was the one that was most commonly used. And now you're going to mix it together. You are then going to form the dough into 8 and you are going to place it. Well, the recipe says 8, but mine didn't make quite 8. Excuse me. And now you are going to put it on a baking sheet, and you are going to let it rest for another 10 minutes. And then after that, you are going to put the onion topping on top, and then you are going to add the garam masala on top of the discs. And now you're going to brush some of the oil left over from the mixture from the bowl and brush it onto the edges so it bakes a nice golden brown. And next you are going to bake them in the oven for about 15 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius or about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. There you have it. I think that they turned out pretty good for what the recipe was. I had to bake them a little bit longer than 15 minutes as it turned out because they were still soft in the center. But this was a really easy recipe to make. I'm really glad that I found this. I'm always looking for easy little snacks to prepare, and these I thought fit the bill nicely. This recipe is also going to be a quick and easy one. They're going to be donut holes. So you're going to mix eggs and sugar together. You're going to beat them until they're double in size and fluffy. And it should look like this. You are then going to add in vanilla essence, some melted butter, and sour milk. It said sour milk or plain yogurt, so I used plain yogurt because that's what I had on hand. And then you are going to mix that together. Oh, actually now I'm still adding the vanilla. And now you mix it. And you are now going to add self-rising flour. I am not sure if it has to be self-rising flour, but since the recipe called for it and I'm testing out the recipes as written, I used rising flour. But if you try it and you don't need rising flour and they still turn out good, then be sure to leave it in the comments. You are now going to mix that together until the batter is nice and smooth and everything is well incorporated. You are now going to take a teaspoon of batter, it says, and put it into some hot oil. I used a cookie dough scoop because I thought that that would get a nice even ball. So that is what I'm using here. And I am using some tongs to flip them in the oil so that all of the sides get evenly brown. And this is what they look like while they're frying. You can see that they are nice and puffed up now and golden. That's what you're looking for. And when they are nice and golden brown, you're going to take them out and put them on a cookie rack, or at least that's what I used, or you can just use a metal tray. And I put paper towels underneath so that the grease would not fall on the baking tray that was underneath, and I would have to do less dishes later. And this is how they look. So basically you're just going to let them cool for a little while. And now you are going to make the cinnamon and sugar topping. So it calls for caster sugar. However, I did not have that, so I am using powdered sugar instead. And I'm going to add cinnamon to it. And after that, I'm just going to roll them into the mixture and then place them on a plate. And here they are. I really like how they turned out, especially with the powdered sugar. I think it makes them look more decadent. And yeah, they were really warm and soft like cake. They were so good. So we are now on the last recipe, which is going to be chili. So what I did is I soaked some kidney beans overnight in some water and garlic powder, onion powder, and Creole seasoning, as you can see here. And now we are just going to cut up all of the vegetables. I am starting with cutting up the onion, and I'm cutting it in half. It's a little bit hard. You can see I had to go over it several times. And this makes it easier to be able to peel the onion. And now after you peel the onion, you are going to slice off the bottom and the top. And then you are going to cut it into pieces so that way you are able to dice it. We are now going to start cutting the bell peppers and celery. And now we are going to cut the carrots. I'm using baby carrots. You can use regular carrots if you'd like, but I like using baby carrots because they're easier to work with, in my opinion. And they're sweeter. So you are now going to blend the onions and celery and bell pepper. It says to blend it in a food processor, but I didn't have a food processor, so I used a blender instead, which looking back was a dumb idea because it kind of made more like a paste instead of just chopping it up, as you will see. Trying to use a spatula in order to push it down, which was dumb, as you will see in a minute. I actually chopped a piece of the spatula into the onion mixture and I'm trying to fish it out. It was a pretty big piece though, so I could find it rather quickly, but I felt kind of embarrassed. Won't be doing that again. And you're now going to blend the carrots up as well. That worked a little bit better because the carrots are harder than the onion. And it should look something like this. So now you're going to cook the onion celery mixture in a pot It says until the onions are translucent, but mine was a little bit more of a paste, like I said, so I just kind of cooked it until it started simmering. And now you're going to add the carrots. And there it is. And now you are going to cook. It says venison chili, but I didn't have venison. So I'm just using regular ground beef. But if you're feeling bougie, you can go for the venison. But it's a little bit out of my price range for now. But you're going to cook that in the pan until it's all browned. And now to the vegetable mixture, you're going to add some chopped garlic and mix it together. Well, actually, it says chopped garlic, but I used prepared garlic because that's what I had. And now to the vegetable mixture, you're going to add the cans of Rotel diced tomatoes and tomato sauce. And incorporate that together and keep it simmering. And I kind of messed up the angle here, but now you're going to add the beef into the vegetable mixture and stir it around to combine it. And this is what it looks like with it all added together, the diced tomatoes and the tomato sauce, and when you add the beans back in. So this is how it turned out, despite there being a little hiccup with the blending of the vegetables along the way. I think it turned out pretty good for what happened, but now I'll know for next time. So yeah. And now you're going to add the spices into it, the cumin and the chili powder and bay leaves, and mix it together. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, please.